All right. All praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rakakadash. Honor to those that I've learned from. Of course, those men that's constantly pushing out this word on the internet, YouTube. Now it looks like they're taking a move to Odyssey, but they're going to find a way to get this word out to the sheep. We're thankful for them. Double honors to their teachers, the apostles, elder bishops of Israel, and shalom to those of Yashavala, seeking the truth, seeking righteousness, and hoping for edification. Shalom. All right, Israel, this one's just real quick. I've had this one. I meditated on this one for months and months. I know this is one that's going to take a while to get out. I'm going to try to just push it out as quick as I can. All right. And I've just been being in man from the kingdom of Judah, growing up in America. You see this, but you just don't understand it. As you grow up, you don't understand what is going on in America. You just understand what's going on here. You grow up, you're raised up, you look at the people that look like you and they're just completely destroyed. You want to have some kind of, pride is pushed on you in America. So you want to have pride in your race, you want to have pride in your people, but you just see this complete destruction in your communities, destruction. You have no political say, you have no criminal justice say. They could just do you any kind of, you wonder what's going on here. Why are we just being destroyed daily? And thank heavens, all praise to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai that he gave us the name again, and he gave us the prophets, and he woke us out of that death. But what's going on here is all our enemies have been gathered together against us, all of them. This man Esau, who is the son of perdition, who is the enemy of Israel, who is the enemy of all that is righteous, he's gathered every last thing that he could think of that is contrary to the house of Israel, to the princes of power. Everything that he could think of, he's gathered them right here to destroy us. Everything. And he used the Bible to find those things, to search out those things and find them. Let's just look at this article right here. A guardian for the international peace and security sits on the Visitors Plaza outside the UN headquarters. You know what the UN stands for? United Nations. That's a place where all the nations unite to make sure they can destroy Israel. We're talking about the Negroes, the Latinos, and the Native Americans, the real Israel, because it's a people before it's a place, because the place now called Israel, we don't know them people over there, we know they ain't the people of the Bible. They're supposed to be there. They in the Bible though, but they ain't the ones that's the princes of power. So the UN, which is the United Nations, are all the nations, Psalms 83, gathered together to come together to destroy us from the inside out, whichever way they could find. Okay, let's just hit this. The Guardian, they call it the Guardian, is a fusion of jaguar and eagle and donated by the government of Oaxaca, Mexico. So countless critics on social media are saying the statue appears to be the likeness of the beast the prophet of Daniel wrote about in the Old Testament, and the Apostle John wrote about in the book of Revelation. It describes the beast with the body of a lion and the wings of an eagle. This is the thing they decided to put outside of the United Nations. I mean, I guess they just read the Bible scripture, conjured up an image in their mind, found someone that was good at doing art, sculpturing, and told them to put it and make it together. They used their money, and this is what they came up with. They put it in front of the United Nations building. This man is set out hell bent on destroying us. Okay, and he's putting it right in your face. So let's go to Daniel. We're gonna go to Daniel 2, and we're gonna start at 21 and try to push it down to 31. Because this guy's gathered everybody. He's gathered the statue of Daniel. He's gathered, everything that's gone wrong with the Sodom and Gomorrah, everything that he can think of, he's gathered, okay, to come up against us. That's why we're in the state we're in. That's why your family's destroyed. That's why there's so many of those alternative lifestyle people roaming around here. That's why everything is messed up, because this guy's hell bent on destroying us and keeping this disgusting, nasty, worthless kingdom going. This place, it shouldn't go on any longer. You know what I'm saying? What I want to do, I want to go to if I can get just put on my best clothes, get in the nicest car and go out. I don't want to go out because guess what's there? A whole bunch of people that's looking like women that's actually men. I don't want to go there. You can make the nicest club. It's worthless now. This place is worthless. It ain't doing what it's supposed to do. You know what I'm saying? My idea of fun and your idea of fun are two completely different things, okay? Let's go. Daniel 2 and 21. And he changeth the times and the seasons. He removeth kings and set up kings. He giveth wisdom unto the wise and knowledge unto them that know understanding. He revealeth the deepest secret things. He know what is in the darkness, and the light dwelleth within him. So start at 31. This is Nebuchadnezzar had the vision, the dream, and he wanted someone in his kingdom to discern the dream and tell him what it's all about, decode the dream for him. And Daniel came up and he was like, Thou, O king, sawest and behold the great image whose brightness was excellent, stood before thee, and the form thereof was terrible. This image really got to Nebuchadnezzar. He said it was terrible. This image was the fine gold. This image head was of fine gold, his breast and his arms of silver, his belly and his thighs of brass, his legs of iron, his feet part iron and part of clay. Thou sawest till that a stone was cut out with our hands, which smote the image upon his feet. They were of iron and clay, and break them into pieces. Now, if you're still in Christianity, you're not going to know what's going on here. All right, 144, Kala Yahbashim Yashai. You're not going to know what's going on here. You're not going to have the correct breakdown. But if you listen to the men on the streets, which now we're heading into 2022, we know that these are the prophets. These are the prophets. I've watched them. I've looked. I've discerned. You know what I'm saying? Raised in America, we ain't trusting no nigga for nothing. You know what I'm saying? When I first woke up, I started with Stephen Darby. That's the first thing I found. I went to GOCC. I kept looking. I kept seeing these GMS people pop up. I was like, I don't know about them. You know what I'm saying? But I'm just going to keep listening. I'm trying to find the people. And I started watching IUIC, but then finally I started watching some, I think it was the Elder Malcolm and a brother out of San Francisco. And, I started getting with them. And then the brother out of Alabama, the head camp leader there, he kept saying, you really shouldn't listen to this camp. You shouldn't listen to that camp. They really was enforcing that. And, I was like, man, you're raised not to trust no Negro for nothing. You know what I'm saying? We don't know. This is the age of just straight lies and deception. So you got to really have a spirit of discernment on you. And I stuck with, and I just kept watching GMS. And these people, they're serious about the Bible. It's not just one man bringing it out. It's a whole, it's people from all over the country, all over the world bringing it out. And you watch IUIC, it's just one, it was just, one, pretty much, their panel that brought it out. But it's everybody, every man in this that's a part of that has to bring it out. Has to pretty much, go hit the streets and the highways and the byways. And so you can really see that it's one person can't bring this out. This is definitely not of man, because if Esau wanted to, he could run out there and get them up, but he hasn't removed them yet. They're there. The word's coming out, and edification is strong. But yeah, so if you're in Christianity, you're not going to understand this breakdown. Thanks to the prophets being on the street, I know this breakdown is as clear as day. It can't be anything else. Okay, the head that he saw was Babylon. The breast, which was silver, was the Medo-Persians. The belly, which is brass, were the Greeks. And the legs of iron is Rome. And then we get iron again with clay is the revised Rome during the Renaissance. That's the breakdown. That's what the beast is. That's what it is, man. Stop listening to these fake Christians. They don't know the Bible. The truth is out now. The new wine is here. So if you take a look at that, that was pretty much for what we're going through now. That is Babel. That's the daughter. That vision he had was for what's going on right now. Right now. That's what this man, he brought every single one of those kingdoms right here. He brought the personification of all of those wicked kingdoms, put it into one statue, and he brought it here. He enslaved the children of Israel, the northern and the southern kingdom, again, are enslaved. The only time we were enslaved together was Egypt. He brought us over to this country, but which is the Americas, and he turned this place into Egypt. You know what I'm saying? And brought all of our enemies. As you can see, Babylon. And what made each one a beast? Each one of those kingdoms was made a beast because they were just a nation. If they're not one of the 18. Babylon is not one of the 18 nations. Babylon was ruled by Assyria. That's why they talk about the Assyrian. But it was a multitude of nations. They started gathering different races of people under their vibration. So that's when like it says, the Most High sets up kingdoms and he takes them down. So those were that's when it's a beast, because it's ruled by a certain nation. For like Babylon was the Assyrians, but it gathers a multitude of nations together. Then we go down to the breast, which was silver. We start out with gold. Now we're down to silver. The breast, which is Medo-Persians. Pretty much the Persians ran that, but the Medes was like a region with a multitude of nations of different people that made that another beast, And then we come down to the belly, which was brass. And, each beast also was like, the Babylon was a lion. Persia, I believe, maybe they're a bear or something. I believe the Greeks was the leopard, and Rome, they're the dragon. But so now back with the Greeks, their belly was brass, and the Greeks that were running Greece were taken over by the Macedonians. So the actual Greek people are Japhetic people, but the Macedonians was running the beast or the kingdom of Greece. But it was also a multitude of nations that they took over, because he had this 4 generals, Ptolemy and Antiochus, and they separated Egypt, Asia, because I believe it was a leopard with 4 wings, and each wing represented one of his generals, which they pretty much brought together a whole multitude of nations. And that's what makes it a beast. What came next was Rome. Rome was the legs of iron. And Rome was ran by the Edomites, but it was also a multitude of nations because of. But first, before it was Rome, I believe it was Kittim that started up that kingdom. The Edomites ran up there and just took it over and built it up, and they controlled that beast and also had a multitude of nations with it. Now, the Macedonians controlled that beast, and we know the Macedonians were actually controlled by the Amalekites. If you trace back Alexander the Great, his father was Philip of Macedonia, so we know, that's how that kingdom was ran. And now we have the revised Roman kingdom with the feet of clay and iron. As you can see, as we get lower in the statue, the mineral content is degraded. It's not. We go from gold to silver, brass, iron. Now we have iron and we have clay mixed, and we can see how. And if you know anything about history, we know that this kingdom is ran by. If you don't know, these Caucasians, they are Edomites, but you can see that there's a challenge here. And if you know a lot about history, like when I first came to the truth, you saw when they were in Europe, like in the 1600s, a lot of times they would like you'd have the French, you had in France, the Amalekites, they would call themselves Jewish people, they would try to go into France and live there, and the French would run them out their country. The Spanish people, the Amalekites would try to go into Spain, and the French would run them out their country because there's something called blood libel, and you'd end up finding like babies with holes poked and tortured in the woods. Like a baby would end up. I saw a documentary on it. A baby would end up tortured, and they'd find his body, and it would be no blood in it, and it would just be had all kind of pinholes in it. So anytime the Amalekites will come into Germany we'll say France, it was England, and I saw where they tried to go into Spain, they would find some children that were tortured and killed, so they would run them out. But now, in this revised Roman Empire, the daughter of Babylon, America, we see how it was really an Edomite rule with like the strong man of George Washington and Thomas Jefferson, but the Amalekites snuck their way in and they've taken over everything. Because you look at everything that's owned right now, the bankers, you check out what their nationality is, you check out the people that run Hollywood, the Supreme Court, there's 9 justices on there, like 4 of them are Amalekite. You look at, they're only 8% of the population in America. And they're like, all of the big corporations, they're running it. So it's like the chief house, like the sons of Edom had America, but the Amalekites came in and they used their honey traps, used their Epsteins and Maxwell's to pretty much catch them in little nasty acts, and they supplanted the country from the Edomites, which they are also Edom, but they're like the chief house, but a lot of other Edomites don't really like them. But that's just a whole nother story. So they used the statue, brought it over here. Let's just leave from that. Then we're gonna go into let's go into Revelation 11 and 8. What's another thing that kept down the people of Israel? What Revelation 11 and 8 says, and their dead bodies shall lie in the street of the great city, which spiritually is called Sodom and Egypt, where also our Lord was crucified. So not only did he bring all the personifications of the statue here to keep us down, one of the worst things that in the Bible was what happened in Sodom and Gomorrah. You know what I'm saying? When Lot had to pretty much run out of there because the people there were just in all types of vile acts. And just look at the television. I've always said, even before I was in the truth, what's on television defines your culture. Was it Modern Family? I mean, I don't know any of these sitcoms because I'm not watching them because it's just nasty. You can't even watch a commercial. I have a DVR. If I want to watch something, I start it up, and then like 30 minutes later, I start watching so I can fast forward to the commercials because this place is just vile and vexing. So this place is, I don't have to tell you about how this place is Sodom. Egypt, he turned this place is spiritual Egypt. I mean, look at the back of your dollar. That's just plain and simple. You can look at the Washington Monument. You can look at the names of a few of the major cities, Memphis, Alexandria. I mean, spiritual Egypt. So he found those things. He brought that here. We can go in Matthew 24. He talks about how the end times like this would be like the days of Noah. So he brought all that mess here with us. And what is he always doing? Let's look this up right here. Let's go to the Smithsonian. The Smithsonian thing. This guy's always digging stuff up. Not only does he have the whole personification of the statue here, he got spiritual Sodom and Egypt here. It's like the days of Noah. This Negro is this Edomite is still digging up things to try to find more hell to put on the children of Israel. What's the Smithsonian? The Smithsonian is an institution. It's a group of museums and education and research centers, the largest such complex in the world, created by the U.S. government for the increase and diffusion of knowledge. So let's just say, you were out somewhere in the Middle East and you found some old relic. They're coming to take that because they're going to be like, you don't have the knowledge to deal with that relic. They probably have laws passed saying that you can't have it because they do not want the truth ever getting out. So not only do we not know, they hid the truth of the slaves and the natives and the Latinos of who they are. If you were some way to get lucky and find an old relic that could prove that you are the children of Israel, they got an institution that is worldwide encompassing that will show up on the scene and take that relic away, hide it in some warehouse factory to make sure that you cannot find out who you are. Okay? What's going on with this thing? It's called the Nation's Attic for its eclectic holdings of 154 million items. The institution's 19 museums, 21 libraries, 9 research centers, and they all lying, and zoo include historical and architectural landmarks mostly located in the District of Columbia. I've pretty much been to all of them. And I mean, they it's all whitewashed, watered down. They do not want the truth to get out. Why don't you ask yourself that question? Why does this dude try to hide the truth? Why is everything a lie? Why is everything classified? Because this guy is a deceiver, okay? And now what's the Smithsonian doing? They're still digging. Now we hear that they're digging up, they're trying to get the bones and the gravesite of King David so they can make their own Gemini man. They want to clone his DNA and make another one. I mean, this guy's not going to stop. Israel, you have an enemy. This guy is your enemy. He's doing everything possible to make sure that he never falls. He never falls. He's doing everything he could possibly do. All right. But, he's gathered all of our enemies here. We're in the worst. I mean, the blacks, Latinos, so-called black people Latinos and Native Americans, they are completely through. Just watch a little bit of TV. Just watch a little bit. Just, I mean, if they're not in your family, just go out to any inner city and just look at the state of them: piercings, tattoos, pink hair, purple hair, blonde hair, no clothes on, tight jeans, dreads, smell. Oh, and the marijuana smoke. It's just these the the Israelites are done. I mean, there's not much more horrible you can do to these people. I mean, we've been destroyed. And it's because this man is constantly attacking the Israelite man, woman, and child. And now he done came up with the honey pot, this daggone remedy that he has, that he wants you to sit down, stick your arm out, and get jig and allow him to insert into you. I mean, this guy, there's no lengths that he will not go to destroy you. You have to understand this guy's your enemy. You got to get it through your head that this Negro, this guy is Esau. He's Esau. This man is Esau. We found him, the son of perdition. He's been right there in front of your face the entire time, scheming on you, trying to destroy you. So now I want to we'll go with this. Let's go to Isaiah. Now, I just have to, I mean, sorry to tell y'all, but everybody here, for the most part, if you're not part of the elect, which I hope and pray every day that I may be blessed to be part of that number. But if you're not, even if you're Israelite, don't even worry going anywhere. You're all numbered. You're owned. You're already owned. The Most High owns you. You're owned. There's a price paid for your head. So don't try to get away, because you're owned. Okay, you're already numbered to the sword, pestilence, famine, whatever it is. But you're not going to make it. Most of the people you see, they're not going to make it. They're going to die. This place is terrible. Nothing can make it out of here. Nothing's going to make it out of here. If you're not part of the elect, you are not making it out of this place in one piece. We know the elite, they're going to be the first fruits of slavery, so they're going to get to the bunker. And for right now, if you're an Edomite, this ain't the time to be on a plane. This ain't the time to be on a boat. This ain't the time to be doing anything drastic, anything abnormal. You need to be in your bunker, man, because all the nations are waiting for the hammer to come down. Everyone is preparing the military. They're preparing their army, because it's that time. It's that time. It's just filthy, disgusting, nasty down here. I'm sure everyone has seen the picture of that Musser guy. Not only was he dressed as a drag queen in the church, he's ordained. This dude is ordained. What is he, reading the Bible upside down? How did this thing get ordained? You know, the abomination is in the church, right there in the temple. That's the act of war. So if you want war, you're going to get war. So what I was going to say, we're going to go to Isaiah 1:9. Except Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai had left unto us a very small remnant, we should have been as Sodom, and we should have been like unto Gomorrah. If it wasn't for the prophets out there, we'd be done. You know what I'm saying? Go listen to T.D. Jakes, see what he's going to say. Go listen to Joel Osteen, see what he's going to tell you. They're not going to condemn anything that's going on out here. Nothing. Okay? There's no replacement theology out here. You can't replace Israel with none of these people, okay? We're going to replace Daniel. See, if you understand the Bible, you understand that there's regeneration. Every 3 to 4 generations, you're regenerated. So you think me to tell me We're going to replace somebody that says some Moabite that just because he claims that he's a Christian, that he chose God, we're going to place him with the Israelite. He wasn't at Mount Sinai. He wasn't around. He didn't march around Jericho. You know what I'm saying? He wasn't. He wasn't in. He wasn't fighting the Amalekites. He wasn't fighting the Hivites. Going into the land of Canaan to reclaim that land. And we're supposed to replace those people with these heathens. That ain't happening, man. It's just not going to happen. So I'm just going to end with Joel. Where we at? Joel 3, 5 through 9. So you've gathered all of our enemies here. Everyone's there. I mean, anything you could find, any wickedness you can conjure up in your mind, you've done to us. But what if you were gathered here for your destruction? Let's see, Joel 5. Because ye have taken my silver and my gold, and have carried into your temples my goodly, pleasant things, the children also of Judah and the children of Jerusalem have ye sold unto the Grecians, that ye might remove them far from their border. Behold, I will raise them out of the place whither ye have sold them, and return unto your recompense upon your own head. And I will sell your sons and your daughters into the hand of the children of Judah, and they shall sell them to the Sabians, to a people far off, for the Lord hath spoken it. So you thought you were going to gather us for destruction, but you've been gathered for your destruction. All of our enemies are here. Ain't nothing making it out of this place but the elect. So with that, I like to say all praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Makar honors to those that I've learned from. Double honors to their teachers, their apostles of Israel, and Shalom to those of Yasharallah, seeking the truth, seeking righteousness, and hoping for edification. Shalom.